Blue Waterholes Cave here, this is the other entrance, or the exit in our case. It's actually one of the few public accessible caves here on Coolaman Plain. There's about 3 or 4 caves that public can access, and anything beyond that you need a special permit. You know, those handful of caves give you a good feel for what's going on around the place. There are basic precautions that you should take when you're going into a cave. The primary precaution you should take is let someone know where you're going when you're expected back. Caving's not something to take lightly. This cave's only about 20 metres long. You can actually see from one end to the other, but there's others further afield that are far more committing, far more challenging. The other important thing about caves is actually look after them. They're very, very fragile. They've taken millions of years to form, to do their thing. Any damage that we do, irreparable effectively. It's pretty cool. Water on the floor, and you can't see where the water is. She's a bit tight here. Float debris there above your head. Ooh. Pretty high. Wouldn't want to come in here when the river's cranking. No. So we're going for a little bit of a explore down the Clarke Gorge. We're up here in Coolaman Plains, which is off the Long Plains Road up in the northern Kosciuszko National Park. And this is a very, very spectacular part of the world. A bit of a slow start this morning because it was extremely cool. We waited for the sun to sort of burn the cloud off, burn the fog off, so we could actually see where we're going, or more importantly see the view. So we're heading off downstream. We've got, I think it's only 4 or 5k walk down to a little waterfall. We walk through the Clarke Gorge. A spectacular day. Not a cloud in the sky. Probably a little bit overdressed actually for the conditions. We might have to have a swim to cool off. I'll leave that when we see it. Come along with us. This is a pretty exciting little adventure, this one. Coming across the flats just here, we get our first glimpse of the gorge proper. So we're about to enter the upstream end of the gorge. Take a look at that. Cuts through there, cuts through the limestone where the water's cut down over eons and eons down through the limestone. Shows the power of water, the influence water has over the landscape. But take a look, it's just cut straight through there. That's amazing. Clarke Gorge. This is about the 4th river crossing, 4th time we've had to cross the creek, and so far I've managed to keep my feet dry, but I feel like this one, I don't think I'm going to have any luck. Might have to take the plunge like the others have. All that effort on the previous river crossings to stay dry was all in vain. Couldn't avoid it there. Stepping stones were just a bit too far apart, and they're like ice, they're that slimy you step on them. Anyway, we've got wet boots now. Take a look at that. You can just see the slit as the river curves around behind us. It's amazing country. This is very, very spectacular. How cool is this? Literally. What cold air. Moisture. We've got Cave Creek just plunging off that waterfall. From here on there's a series of little cascades. A bit further on it just runs into the Contradictory River. It's been a fantastic little explore. Perfect day for it. There's about 6 or 8 of these crossings as you make your way down through Clarke Gorge. And we're fortunate that the water levels aren't too high, but there's certainly evidence of water levels being a lot higher. The water temperature is actually quite bearable. This type of terrain that we're walking through is known as karst, and that's a German word meaning waterless barren plain. Aside from this river, if you go for a walk around all this country, there's no water. All the valleys are dry. There's subterranean water, and that's because we're this karst landscape, which is primarily limestone. And Clarke Gorge with Cave Creek is sort of on that interface between the limestone and the volcanics, and hence the water can't sink any further. The word karst derives from as I said, from a German word from the area of a limestone plateau near Trieste, I think is how you say it, Trieste, on the Slovenian and Italian border, and it's a term used worldwide these days for describing this type of terrain. Quite widespread around the world, karst, and explored feverishly by speleologists. The Coolaman Plain karst area that we're walking through is the largest karst spring in eastern Australia. It was as recent as 1983 or thereabouts that William Lee, who at the time was the superintendent, I believe, of Caves New South Wales, and Robert Etheridge, who was a prominent paleontologist, named this gorge Clarke Gorge, and they named it in honour of Reverend William Bronthwaite Clarke, I hope I've got that right, who in about the 1860s was a prominent geologist. The gorge was named in retrospect and in his honour. Many years, thousands of years prior to that, there was a deep connection to this place, and you can understand why. By all accounts it was a trade route or a main access route joining the west of New South Wales to the east coast. The Aboriginals of many different languages would pass through here, meet, celebrate, ceremonies, trade, barter, all that sort of thing. And you can understand why this would have been a pretty special place. And we're very fortunate to be able to move through this landscape freely. This is awesome country. This is absolutely fantastic country, and you do feel pretty special to be able to be here actually. way downstream. I think this is the one. I rock hopped across here trying to keep my boots wet, not realising that there was another 6 or 8 crossings below us, so it was all pretty fruitless really. So barged through on the way back. I hope you enjoyed that little wander through the gorge. We certainly did. Bit of a trip down memory lane for us. Been quite a few years since we visited this part of the world, and hopefully it's not quite as long until we get back again. There's actually so much to see and do around here. There's walking tracks everywhere, there's drives, there's all these huts and historic bits and pieces to explore and reflect and look around and learn about. Anyway, so that's why we're here. You might notice over the shoulder there, we're at Coolaman Homestead now. This will be part of another video. But thanks for coming along on our trip through Clarke Gorge. We had a ball. It was fantastic. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. We'll see you next time. Catch up.